Hi friends, did you know that storing emergency water can be life-saving? If you are in any kind of emergency where your water supply is contaminated or you don't have access to, you need to have some backup water. A person can only live 3 to 5 days without water. And the moment you are actually thirsty, your body has already started to dehydrate. So let's talk about ways we can store some water to get us through some different kind of emergencies. Welcome back. This is Vicki with the 411, and we're talking about storing emergency water. A person needs to store a minimum of 1 gallon of water per day for drinking water and cooking and brushing your teeth, anything that you want clean water for. That's 1 gallon per person per day. And you should have a minimum of a 2-week water supply. So add that up, 14 gallons per person. You need another gallon to use for incidentals, washing hands, washing clothes, cleaning things that you don't want to use your good drinking water for. So if you have other ways to store other water, that's a great idea. Some places that you don't want to get water to store in an emergency, don't rely on a water bed. I don't know if people still have water beds, but back in the day, they used to think that was a water supply. That is not a water supply. The plastic in those rubber plastic tubes that the water goes in is not safe to drink after. You can get water from ice cubes that are melting. You can get water from your water heater if you need to access water from that. Water in the tank of your toilet is safe, not the toilet bowl, but the toilet, it's the tank, as long as you don't have any kind of chemicals that you're putting in it to clean your toilet as it goes along. So those are some emergency places you could get water if you don't have anything stored. If you know in advance that a storm is coming and you might need water, you could fill a bathtub up, fill up your kitchen sink or something like that to access water. I would then boil that water before I ever drank it. But there are ways to get water. Now this just came in from up in Canada last week. They had something that broke a water main, and they were giving several big neighborhoods, told them not to drink their drinking water, that it was a boiling mandate. So if they didn't have water stored, they would have to boil the water coming out of their faucets. They weren't allowed to water their lawn, plants or anything like that. There was a ban on any kind of yard fires or anything like that, outdoor cooking and stuff because of this water mandate. So some of those people might have been prepared, some of them might not. One quick, easy way to be prepared for moments like that is to always have a case of drinking water. The kind you buy in the grocery store, by the case, by Sam's Club or something. Always have something like that on hand. So let's look at some different ways we can store water. Now, it's not smart to store all your water in jars because this is breakable and it's heavy. But when I do my canning and I don't have enough jars of beans to fill the whole pressure canner, I'll do a jar of water. And look how clear and crystal that water is. It is just beautiful. And this was canned in July of '98. Little old there. But it would be safe to clean my contacts with, I could brush my teeth with this. It's good for disinfecting if you're cleaning wounds. It could probably be used in CPAP machines. It's that safe. Other ways you can store it are you could use these type of gallon jugs short term. This is a very thin plastic, and it's porous, and after a while I just felt something squirt me. So after a while, I don't know if you can see that, but it's squirting water. So that is no longer a safe thing to store. Because it's such a thin plastic, it does get to the point where it breaks down. The thicker plastic that you might see, like a Deer Park jug of water that's got that harder plastic, the little triangle that's on the bottom of a lot of plastic things, all plastic things should have them. I don't think the little drinking water bottles do. Will have a number in it. If the number is 1, 2, 4, or 7, then that container is good for long-term water storage. Here is a jug that I like to use to store water. It's got a number 2 on the bottom of my little triangle. It's thick and it's dark so that the sunlight doesn't damage my water. It's got a wide mouth up here so it's easy to fill it. And then a little button, the little thing back here, you would turn that off to kind of get air in there to release it as you're pouring it out. It comes with a nice little lid, and it comes with the spigot that you can go in and put on and pop out the lid if I needed to use this as a drink dispenser to get water out. And they stack very nicely. And I use the 5-gallon jugs for the purpose of, I have a well. I don't have city water, we're on a well here. And if I don't have power, which is the most common emergency we have around here is a power. And if I don't have power, I don't have water. I can't turn my spigots on. I can't flush a toilet. So these are easy to grab. You can pour about a gallon of it into the bowl of your toilet, and the pressure will make it flush. So that's always good to have. I have a 33-gallon jug, barrel of water, and a 55-gallon barrel of water. Can't pick those up and drag them into the bathroom to flush the toilet. So these 5-pound ones come in very handy. Now to treat water that you're storing, you take little eyedropper, and it takes 5 to 6 drops of chlorine, whether it be chlorine bleach or an iodine, something like that. Now, if you're going to use Clorox, which is perfectly good to use, do not use the lavender scent or the fresh scent or the spring scent. You want pure, the unscented kind. You don't want your water tasting like spring and, you know, all that stuff. That's adding a whole new flavor to your water. But anyway, you don't want to use those. And then you want to fill your jug as full as you can possibly get it before putting the lid on. I get it almost running over and then put the lid on and water's running out. That leaves no air in there to cause any kind of breakdown of the water. And they say that you need to, I've read several different things doing this research, that you need to rotate and dump your water out every 6 months. I've heard every 10 years. And I've also heard that if you've treated it properly, it does not expire. It'll never go bad. And we emptied some of our barrels about 10 or 15 years ago that had been stored for a good 10 years. And that water was just as crisp and pretty as, you know, a summer brook. You know, it was just beautiful water, had a good taste to it. And I really felt bad that we were pouring it out, but, you know, water your yard with it or something like that. Something else you might need to know about your storage containers, you don't want to use anything that milk has been in or any kind of sugar drink has been in. So that rules out your milk jugs, your juice bottles, your soda bottles. Those are not good. You want to be able to label your water. Label if it's drinking water. Label it if it's cleaning water or hand washing water. You can, if you've emptied a bottle of Clorox, if you've completely emptied it out, don't rinse it out, fill it full of water again, and it's good water. It's good to drink, it's good to use for anything else. But you don't want somebody to pick up a Clorox bottle and think it might be drinking water. So if you're used to it and you have all your bottles labeled drinking water, then your children know not to get a bottle that doesn't say drinking water on it. I would hate for somebody to mistakenly pick up Clorox and start drinking it. So be sure to label it. I'm going to show you what I've done for laundry, and I'll have to go into another room to do that. And then we'll talk about how to store your 35 and 55-gallon drum barrels. Here is how I store my laundry water. I know that's kind of dirty. It's been sitting on a shelf for a long time, but these are used bottles that when I used to use liquid laundry soap, and when I got through with the bottle, I would just fill them full of water. And in an emergency, I could use this to wash out my underclothes or, you know, wash any kind of laundry. Like I mentioned in the video last time on my emergency preparedness, I can go days wearing the same pair of jeans, but kind of like that clean underclothes. And this is a great way to just, you know, pour it into a dish and hand wash some of your laundry. So here is one of my 55-gallon drum barrels, and it's got the little places on top so you can fill it. And I could also put a little spigot on one of those if I needed to turn it on its side and be able to pour it out. I have a pump that you can slide down in there. It's got a long tail on it, and you can siphon your water out that way. There's just something good about having this kind of storage. As you know, I have a lot of freeze-dried food from Thrive Life, and I have to have water to rehydrate or to refresh most of that food if I'm planning to eat it. So it's important, no matter what your emergency, whether it's earthquake or fires or power outages, contamination of your city's water supply, it's just important to have your backup water. Another thing is if you're getting water out of the creek or out of a lake or something, or even my neighbor has a swimming pool, and she said, that's an emergency water too. Again, you need to boil it. But if you use something as simple as a coffee filter to pour that water in, put that in like a little strainer, pour your water through it, it'll get a lot of your larger debris that would be in river water, creek water, and stuff like that. And then boil your water. And then I would filter it again, because some of the stuff might separate once it boils, because you want it to be as clean as possible to drink, for your family. There are some other things you can use to purify your water other than chlorine bleach. This is Aqua Mira. It's a chlorine type solution. You just follow the instructions on the thing there. Iodine tablets, you would just have to follow the instructions there on what size container you're storing your water in, excuse me. If your water is ever murky, if you have to get water out of the creek to drink, it's important to boil that water for at least 3 minutes and then let it cool before you ever, try to use that for drinking water. So there are ways, and I just encourage you to have something to get started, whether it's that case of drinking water that you have on hand that maybe you can rotate around, using, if you have to buy water at the store in the big jugs and just put some of those aside, that's a way to get started, just to bring yourself a little security and know that should the power go out for a couple of days, that you're not going to panic and run to the stores, because chances are if you're out of power, so's the store. So take a moment and be prepared, so that you can bring peace to your family instead of panic. Again, this is Vicki with the 411. Hope you are submitting some questions, and be sure to read the comments below. I have links to some of the stuff from Amazon on these jugs. So until next time, see ya.